Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Another episode of Trash Talk. I'm Damian Hill. With me, as always, is TJ O'Connor. Tonight, we are joined by James Clark, the owner of Valhalla Combat Sports and Valhalla Combat Sports Fight Promotions. Tonight, we're breaking down the card that's going down October 10th. But before we get into that, we're going to go over a list of our sponsors: Valhalla Combat Sports, Ink Shrinks Tattoo out of New Brighton, Minnesota, Origin Wellness CBD, The Striking Institute, Spartan Martial Arts, James Clark Sports Psychology and Hypnosis Therapy, The Fighters, and TJ's mom. How you doing tonight, Jim?
Good. Yourselves?
Doing good.
Good.
Yeah, keep playing.
Yeah. So this event, I guess there's a little bit of a backstory, but we'll get into that later. But you are adding amateur boxing to this card?
That's right. Yeah, I posted about this up on Facebook, but I wasn't doing amateur boxing before, but USA Boxing, they took my license away for a year because I was doing like the kickboxing and BJJ events. Like there's a new president that was sticking his nose in my business there, and he suspended me, then suspended my son. They weren't doing any shows anyway, but they took my license away. So I looked into them and see how they operate, what they do, and yeah. So if the guys, because we're an MMA gym, so I should be allowed to do my kickboxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I don't know what their deal was. They were maybe jealous that I was doing shows and they weren't, or I'm not sure what their agenda was, but I got a letter that they suspended me for a year for the USA Boxing. I've had a license every year for 12 years, for Joshua and other guys. TJ, you boxed a couple fights out of our gym. So anyway, they suspended me, so I looked into it, and so I started my own ABC amateur boxing company, so ABC Boxing. So I started my own. I'm doing things a little bit differently than USA Boxing. I'm interested in, making money, but I'm also interested in the sport for its own sake. Like, I'm not forcing the fighters to wear headgear. I think that's one big difference. Like USA Boxing, they make it mandatory that you will wear headgear, and then you have to wear their headgear, and then they charge you $100 for it. It's a $10 headgear.
Yeah.
I could order that same headgear from Pakistan for $10. They're making it in Pakistan, but they're charging people $100 for it. So it's a money grab for them. So I just want to have the fights and have. I think my boxing will probably cater to more the Muay Thai fighters and MMA fighters. The USA Boxing will have their people that are like interested in boxing, but MMA fighters and kickboxers have went over to boxing, and they haven't always been treated well. They've been forced to fight like top level guys and get crushed. So I'm going to set up fair boxing matches on our show, and this will be an avenue for MMA fighters and Muay Thai fighters to get some boxing experience.
Yeah. Okay. So getting into this card, what a few of the amateur boxing matches are. I mean, yeah, I guess they are amateur boxing matches. Which few excite you the most?
There are a couple really high level fighters here. There's Jimmy Padilla, who's done very well in his Muay Thai fights that you guys have seen.
Yep.
And then against Noah Landris, who's 8-1 in MMA. Yeah, that should be a very good fight. I think I have, if I remember correctly, I think I have that as the co-main event.
Okay. Well, no, that's actually exciting to hear because Noah Landris is known to be a wrestler, and he's dominated most of his MMA fights with his wrestling. And he went on to become the Driller Amateur 155-pound champion. I think he lost it to Davey Young in a decision. But tough as they come. And it's nice to see that he's willing to go and step into the ring and test his hands and develop his hands a little bit more, because I spoke with him a little bit after his last fight, and that was one of the things that he felt like he needed to work on and is ready to start displaying. And this is the perfect opportunity. You're putting yourself in a position where the only thing you can do is punch back, So, I mean, props to him for stepping over into the boxing world. And then also Jimmy Padilla for always taking on tough fights. I mean, I've been impressed with his boxing and with the way he's been able to develop his hands. And I think he's honestly going to be a tough test for Noah if Noah hasn't been focusing on his stand-up.
I think that'll be a very good one. I think they're both very good athletes, and so I think that'll show up in that fight. I think they'll both come to battle.
Yeah, and then I guess there's a few other guys on the card. I'm sorry, my phone I didn't write everything down. I have it on my phone. Patrick Skildum versus George Spars.
Yeah,
that actually, it sounds pretty exciting to watch. I mean, I've seen both of those guys throw down multiple times, and I don't know. TJ, what do you think about that matchup?
That's a real fun fight. We've had Patrick on the show. Obviously, we've seen his last fight on the last Valhalla show, and he's a veteran, game, always down to fight. And George is the name that you might not know of as much, but I mean, he's had some fights, and I can tell you from experience, he can scrap. George knows how to fight. He gets fighting. And when I saw that was matched up and that was the main event of the boxing portion, I mean, I thought that was a perfect place for it. I think I like to see how those guys match up together and who's able to come out on top on that one.
Yeah, I like that fight. Skildum can hit. He can hit hard. He's got a pretty good overhand. And then George, I think he's pretty technical in his boxing. So I think that'll be an interesting fight.
Yeah. And then I guess I don't know who else is on here. There's two guys that I don't know. Why do you have Adam Kastner and what's that other Marquis Solomon on the card, Jim?
Because I'm an idiot. I'm probably as brain dead as fucking Adam Kastner. He died for 40 minutes on the ambulance. That was his reason for backing out of the last show, and I'm probably just as brain dead as he is for booking him.
Oh my God! How long ago did he die?
He's the only guy I know that died on a Friday and came back to life on a Sunday. So as far as that goes, he's in pretty good company. But
yeah, well, okay, Jim. Not everybody listening knows the story. I'm laughing too much. Could you go over what he told you for us one more time?
Yeah, usually I get the, hey, I couldn't get out of work. I don't want to lose my job, or somebody died in the family. I hear that one, but I've never heard I myself died. That was his excuse. He himself died, and not just for your like 2 minutes and then the electric on the chest and then bring it back. This fucker died for 40 minutes. He was gone for 40 minutes, which is, I think, biologically impossible.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I watch a lot of medical TV, and then I watch a lot of the medical TV busters, the ones where they say they pick apart Grey's Anatomy and say, this would never happen. They pick apart ER, and it's like, that's not what happens. And I'm pretty sure after like 5 minutes, if you're brought back, you're most likely going to be a vegetable. But after 8, it's guaranteed you're going to be a vegetable if you're brought back at all. And I think anything after 8 minutes, you're dead. Like your brain is dead. It locked all of your oxygen, and your brain's not going to wake up to bring back your organs. And again, I'm not a doctor. I am not a doctor.
He will not change his story. He says, I have proof. I can send you but he's never sent the hospital paperwork. But he says, this is what he says. He said that somebody roofied him. I think that's the word he used. Somebody roofied him. So he doesn't show up for the weigh-ins. He's supposed to fight Matthias Joyce, the guy that we were on your game show together, right? He was supposed to fight him, and he was supposed to come to weigh-ins. Actually, Adam Kastner has never been to a weigh-in. He claims that he weighs 160, but he's 190 if he's anything. I mean, I've wrestled since I was 10 years old, and I've rolled with this guy. He's come to our gym. I've rolled with him. I could work at a carnival and guess people's weight and never give even a pencil away or an eraser because I can tell what people weigh. Adam Kastner is as fat as me.
Jim.
Probably 190, but he claims to weigh 160, but he's never weighed in front of us. I think somebody's got a thumb up his ass, pulling him from behind, or he's leaning his head on the wall. That's how he weighs in. But he was supposed to weigh in. Instead of coming for weigh-ins, he went to a bar, and he said somebody poisoned him. That's what the word he used, or roofied him. And he said that he had a grand mal seizure in the bathroom. He said that the doctors found a mixture of Xanax and bath salts in his drinks, that somebody was poisoning him. This is what he claims.
Hold on. There's a lot of questions. Because again, like I watched those. I watched all those medical shows that I mentioned. I also watch a lot of crime dramas too. Again, I'm not an expert, but the doctors left the hospital to go look in his drink that was still there at the bar. Not the police, not the lab at the police.
Oh, he claims there's an open police investigation as to who poisoned him.
What police department? I gotta check this shit. I think he's
from Foley. I think he lives in Foley, in his mom's basement.
Foley police officers, if you're listening to this, if you could, if there's any validity to the story, please reach out. I would really appreciate it. But oh my God, this kind of just reminds me of a skit that me and TJ never released. But the lines go where one guy fought hurt, and then his buddy tries to one-up him, like, well, I fought with a broken hand. And the guy says, well, I fought with 2 broken hands. Because I fought and I tore my ACL. It's like, well, I fought with 2 torn ACLs and a broken arm. And then the guy says, well, I died a week ago. Like, I still fought. Like, and it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's funny because you know it's that outrageous, but I never thought somebody would actually.
Like I said, I've heard like the common one, hey, I can't get out of work. Hey, somebody in my family died or my best friend died, but I've never had the fighter himself die.
Every time I said, I try not to laugh and try to keep a straight face, but just it's such a silly concept. And talking about TV doctors, like Damien said, I think we can all agree that not even Dr. House is bringing somebody back after 45 minutes. And it's one of those things where, it's impressive, the story that was in. And, quite frankly, like you said, there's only one other guy that even comes to mind that perished on a Friday and came back on a Sunday. And I'm not sure he was even ready to compete in fighting a month later. So this is a modern miracle. And I can say I'm excited to see the fight, but I'm excited to see the fight.
I'm excited to see the over and under on what excuse either Marquise Solomon or Adam Kastner come up with for not showing up for their fights.
I knew you set that up, so I actually checked it out. And Vegas has it at 6-1 odds of a no-show. And then they actually put a prop bet of an arrest for plus 105. And I think that's probably going to be your best bet if you're looking to put money down. I think an arrest is most plausible.
James Clark, I hope this goes, this doesn't sound insulting at all, because it's one of those things that I know for a fact every fight promoter wants to do this. And there's even some gym owners that want to do this to some of the people that train at their fucking gym. Like, I know this for a fucking fact, but no one's going to say it. But the thing is that there's a lot of guys that promoters won't book again, but they would love to have on their show just so that they could see them get their ass beat. I think you, sir, are the only one that's willing to do it. and honestly, I appreciate you for it, because we want to see it too, and there's no other way. Like, I'm not gonna go out to the bar with these guys and stuff. It's like I'll probably be the one beating their fucking asses.
Actually,
anyway.
somebody said this because I made a post about it. Somebody wrote me and said that they think it was actually Kastner's mom who roofied him because just sick of his ass. And I want to know the Vegas odds on that one. That's probably pretty high.
That's actually pretty funny. I shouldn't have laughed at that. Moving on, you have besides those guys, you do have a really exciting card at hand, with the rest of the amateur boxers and with the kickboxers that you have on the card as well. Tell me a little bit more about the kickboxing portion.
Yep. So moving on from boxing, well, yeah, your fight, the main event, that is a very good fight between you and Angel Pacheco. That's and that came together. I watched your show interviewing him. That came together at the last minute. I was trying to find somebody for you for months, and then I did have a guy who his excuse wasn't as bad as Kastner's. He didn't die, but he said that he couldn't find a babysitter 6 weeks out. His excuse or not. He accepted the fight, but then I think what he did, he accepted it, looked you up, and then wanted to bow out gracefully. So he said, "Oh, I can't find a babysitter 6 weeks out."
Yeah, and then Angel decided, it's like, "Oh, well, I can actually make some money on this." It's like, "Well, I'll fight your ass," and I'm like, "Damn it,
Yeah,
God damn it." No, but no, like I respect Angel a lot. He's been in the boxing world for a long time. I think he has over 50 boxing matches or amateur boxing matches. I mean, a lengthy amateur career. I think we've been fighting and competing just as long as each other. Angel is going to be the first guy that I've ever fought that has more fights than me.
Yeah, I remember him. Like I would bring my son Joshua again. We're those USA boxing cards. My son Joshua would fight on those, and Angel he was almost at every single one that my son was fighting on. So he's had quite a few amateur boxing matches.
And then who's the co-main event for the kickboxing portion?
You have the lineup in front of you.
I
have it posted up.
Sorry, I keep setting my phone down. I'm trying to remember because it was another good one. Darnell Clark versus Andrew K. Sallin. That's how could I forget about those big guys? How much weight did you say is going to be in the ring at that time?
About 9 bills. Yeah.
Let's be thankful for concrete.
Give it the proper respect. 450 for Andrew, 350 for Darnell Clark. So I think if my math is right, that's
9.
That's 900.
9.
Yep.
My remedial math.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having the ropes reinforced, tightened up. Because the last fight where Andrew and the guys were leaning, his opponent was leaning on the ropes. They stretched about 6 inches out, so I got to tighten them up. But that should be a good one. But that should be a pretty good fight between those two.
Yeah, no, that one excites me a lot because I know both guys like to throw hands. Granted, it is a kickboxing match, but I mean, they're going to be kickboxing. They're going to be boxing on the kickboxing portion of your boxing card. And I honestly, Andrew has been a fan favorite every single time he's competed on your card, and I can't wait to see what Darnell Clark does. And then we have, an all-time Minnesota legend, Marty Lindquist, on the card as well. And I'm just excited to see him fight, and this has been a long time coming because there's been so many fights that have just kind of fell through on your show where he's trying to get a kickboxing match on, and either he's competed in exhibitions just to kind of stay active, but now he finally has a live go. How did that one come?
This one's an exhibition also.
Oh,
do you remember when I sent you those for your grudge match show? I sent you Vincent Downwind was supposed to fight this guy named Edward Carrington, who was, can I say the word dick pics on here? Edward Carrington was sending him dick pics saying that this is the dick that I'm going to F you with. I mean, this card, the people I have on here are actually Adam Kastner is probably the most well-adjusted of the three between Marquis Solomon and Edward Carrington. Edward Carrington was like talking crap, but most people that talk crap up on line when it actually comes to fighting. So he bowed out. He doesn't answer anymore. So Vincent Downwind lost his opponent, and Marty stepped up to give him an exhibition. So it's exhibition.
Well, he still gets to compete, and I love watching him compete every time. But yeah, it's unfortunate that his opponent, or that he doesn't have a live opponent, because Marty can throw some hands.
Yeah,
and kick too. I mean,
even an exhibition, that'll be fun to watch because Vincent knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So, and then Bodie Fitzsimmons is making his way back to the ring after a unanimous, I think it was unanimous victory at his last outing at your show, where he was the co-main event, and now he's facing the very tough Blake Bergeson. How do you think those two match up? I think they fought one time before, if I'm not mistaken.
I think the judges had Blake winning the first round, but then Bodie Fitzsimmons finished him in the second round. I think that'll be a better fight than last time. I mean, Bodie did finish him, I think, in the second round, but Blake's been working out. I think he's in better shape. So I think that one might be a different story. We'll see, though.
I actually was able to talk to Blake because I haven't talked with Bodie at all, but I know Bodie's always in the gym and he's always training. You know, I can imagine that he's doing the same things, just keeping himself ready and at all times. But Blake has definitely made some extreme changes after that first one, because I was able to talk with him, and he said after that last loss, he didn't feel like he even stepped into the gym with the right mindset to prepare himself for a fight, and he didn't have the right mindset in the fight. And you can see it in the way he talks and in the way he carries himself a little bit. And I actually was able to get a few rounds of sparring in with him, and man, he's the Blake of old. He's the dangerous, bad motherfucker now. And I'm excited to see how those two kind of match up in this next go-around.
Yeah, I want to go on record with this one and say that this is actually my pick for the fight of the night in advance. I think this is a great fight. Watching the first one, seeing how it played out. Like you said, Blake has been in the game forever. You look at his record, he doesn't have the most fights, but Blake has been fighting since like 2010. He's been in the gym. There might have been spurts where he was doing other things, but that knowledge doesn't leave. And when he's in the type of shape he's in right now, this is the best case scenario. And when you come into a rematch, it's interesting because when you're the guy who comes up short in a fight like that, it's easy to make adjustments. It's easy to know what you have to do. But, like you said with Bodie, he won the last fight. So, is he going to make changes as well, or is he going to focus on what worked last time? What type of fight are we going to get? And I think this one's going to be a banger. And like I said, this is my pick for fight of the night.
It could be right. Could be right there.
Oh, yeah. Now, there is the jiu-jitsu portion going on in between the boxing and the kickboxing. What time approximately does the entire event start, and what times are they separated by?
Sure. Well, the boxing will be 12 noon until 2 o'clock. We'll kick everybody out. We'll scrub down the chairs, Lysol them, get it cleaned up, and then from 5 to 9 will be first the jiu-jitsu. That'll probably go from 5 to 6, and then 6 to 9 will probably be the kickboxing. So we're doing like two separate events there. Boxing 12 to noon, or 12 noon till 2. And then from 5 to 9 will be the jiu-jitsu, followed by the kickboxing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's nice to know that you're going to be kicking everybody out and wiping everything down, because I know that you've taken all the precautions required by the state, and even a little extra, just to make sure that you can keep these shows going on. The thermometers upstairs, the waiver signings, the masks, the wiping down of chairs, the hand sanitizers, and all the places available for everyone there. It's amazing to see what you've done, and that you've been able to get it done and continue to get it done. So I admire that, sir.
Thank you. Yep, I've got a pretty good medical staff. Pretty much 2 doctors I have. There's a doctor of physical therapy, so she'll work with people that have like any injuries, like like they twist a knee or an ankle or something. And then I have a nurse practitioner. She works as like an ER surgical nurse. So pretty good medical staff. And then they'll be checking, people for COVID at the door, like the temperatures, and having them fill out a questionnaire, and then when they pass that, they can come down. So we got things in place to protect people now.
Yeah.
It's awesome, and taking all those precautions, and if you do feel under the weather, you do feel any symptoms, and you don't want to miss the card, you're lucky, because you can stream the boxing card, you can stream the jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. Tell them how they can do that as well, Jim.
Yep, my son Josh Clark, he can he has the link in order to get to the to watch the show, and it's just for $10. People can watch both the boxing and the jiu-jitsu and kickboxing, so you get both shows for $10. You can watch it on your computer at home. But what people should do is send my son Josh Clark a friend request, and he can get him into the private wall that they can watch that live stream.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm excited for this card. I mean, I am fighting on it, so I'm ready for it. People, you should show up there, and if you are afraid, or if you're not willing to take the risk, there is a live stream that will be provided, and a link will be provided below. And yeah, thank you, James Clark, for being on with us tonight. Everybody watching this, like this video, subscribe to Trash Talk with Damian and TJ. Don't be a hoe.
Thanks, you guys.
No, thank you, Jim. Yeah, I know it's been a